All right, I think we're live. Just wait for Miss Tracy to share us over into the Craft Around the Clock group. I'm Yvette from Old Times Paint Parties, and we're here to paint our happy spring sign because it's so cold here. I have to thank spring. I can't take this cold anymore. So we're going to just pop right into a spring project. There's Miss Tracy. All right, hello. All right, we're just going to, I'm going to pop up the link for this little blank. If you're interested in this blank that we're painting today, you can grab yourself one. Pop that in there and then we'll get started because we are here only until 2:30. We have a 45-minute window to get this painted. All right, so there we go. Hi, Terry. Okay, so I'm going to work on the background first. So we're just going to move these little pieces out of the way. We're just going to dive right on in because let me see how far I can get. Sometimes I can't get the whole project finished, but I'm going to hope that I do. All right, so background, I'm going to stain it first with some burnt umber and a baby wipe. I'm going to stain that up first, and then we're going to put a little paint on there and distress some of that back. That's our plan anyway. So these are all pre-engraved on here, so you know where to place your little pieces after. If you're new here, let me know in the comments. I'm usually not on this early. I'm usually a little bit later crafter, but I'm off today from my day job, so I thought let's just do an earlier segment. Why not, right? See what it's like in the daytime, what daytime crafting is like. I'm usually working, but this is, I feel like I need a little more water, but I'm going to persevere and just get this on because we're painting over this anyway, so I'm not worried about how particular this is going to be. Just want to get it on here. Get it dry. So as I was saying, let me know if you're new in the comments and if this is your first time watching me. And also if you are not already a member of the Craft Around the Clock group, make sure I have the link at the top of this post. Make sure you pop over there and join on in that page. And also make sure you join in on this page so that you know when we go live next. All right, so let's give this a little dry. And I know it's kind of spotty and sporadic, and that's okay because we're going to put a layer of paint over this anyway. Hello, Miss Jan. Hi, Patty. Oh, Miss Janet. Watching while you work. Okay, I won't tell. I'll tell no one. I will tell no one. I'm just going to get this as dry as we possibly can here in a split second. Let's hope we can get it done in a split second anyway. And be sure to sprinkle this out if you have a moment. That would be wonderful too. I would appreciate that. So I picked a bluish color of chalk paint. Now I'm hoping this isn't an epic fail, but we're gonna give it a whirl. Hey, what better place to fail than right here? Okay, let's try it. So I'm picking Nightfall. This is a Country Chic paint brand. Not that it matters what brand it is, but that's what I'm using anyway. So it's kind of a bluish color. It's a pretty bluish color. So my plan is that when I wipe this back a little bit, we just get a little bit of that stained look under here. Pray for me. Hope that it works. I didn't really test this theory, but we're going to test it here. Get this on here and hopefully get it distressed, and we'll set this part aside so we can start painting our little pieces. Hello, Cynthia. Okay, so let us see what happens. Okay, ladies, this is do or die right now. That lid on so I don't spill that on myself. So I'm just going to grab a few wet wipes because I'm sure it'll take more than one. Let's see, has anyone ever tried this method? I don't know. I don't know, girls. I think the trick is to have a clean spot on your wet wipe to get that paint off of there. I think I'm going to be okay with this. I think it'll be okay if I can keep my fingerprints out of it. All right, new wet wipe. Fingers crossed, thank you. I think it's going to be okay for what I wanted it to do. Now I'm trying to go with the grain so that it's not all wonky. And I want some more off those edges a little bit. But I think it's okay. Trick is to keep a clean, try to keep a clean wet wipe in your hand, because once it gets paint on it, it just kind of mushes the paint around. So that's kind of what I'm going for there, a little bit of stained look popping through. Get a little more in here. I think it's all right. What do you think? We all learning today, see? We're all learning. It's okay to learn new things. I kind of like this look. I'm liking it. Okay, I'm going to stop playing with it because let's flip it around here. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to call it done. What say you? I think it's pretty good. So we're just going to dry it a little bit here and see how we did. It might look a little different once it's dry. I just kind of wanted that little bit of a hint of blue under there and that stain popping through. And I think I achieved it. I think I achieved what I wanted. Thanks, ladies. All right. So I'm not going to completely dry because we'll be here forever. I'm just going to set this aside because we have some important pieces to get to painting. So let's do that. All right. I'm going to work on these words first, and I'm going to use a color that I have not yet tried. It's Tea Berry, and I think it was in DecoArt's last round of new colors, so I don't even know what this. It's pretty. If you can see it, it's really pretty. It's like a watermelon sort of color. So why not? It looks springy to me. Springy enough. Get off there. There we go. So I'm just going to get my tape in place so I can tape down my pieces. It's got away on me. We'll put a couple strips down and then we'll get going here. We'll get moving. All right, tape out. Here we go. Fresh makeup sponge. Let's dive right in and see what this looks like. Ooh, I like it. That is a snazzy color. I do like it. Have you guys used this one yet? This was, I think DecoArt just came out with some more new colors for 2025. I had a little perusal of them. They look pretty too. But I think this is from the last release they had from that. I think it was 6 or 8 colors they had come out. But this is the first time I just opened the bottle for this live. So this is a first for me for this color. But I think I like it a lot. We're going to see how it looks on that blue background. Put a second coat on because that first coat kind of sinks right on in there. All right, we'll set this one aside and we'll go, just be careful taking these off that I don't snap my words. All right, so we'll get this part on, and I'm going to do this in a bit of a purple, I think. We're going to use, I think this might be a discontinued color, but we're going to use it anyways. It's Summer Lilac. I'm not sure if it's still even available, but great way to get your paint bottles used up that of all these discontinued colors by doing these little kits. It's kind of nice to use. You can see it's got paint boogers in it. It's been around a while, but we still can get some out of there. All right, dry that fast. Hello, Miss Linda. How are you? Paint boogers. I know, Dan. It's true, though. That's what they are. It's the best way to describe them. Don't you think? I know you think it too. You just laughing because I said it out loud. If anyone would say it out loud, it would be me. I love the purple too, and I'm not sure. You guys might know better than I if, hello, Miss Sue, if that Summer Lilac is a discontinued one or if they still have it or not. I'm terrible with knowing which is which. Oh, you'll think exactly that now, Jan. As soon as you pull one out, you're gonna think of those words. Jeez. I think I got one on my happy word, which doesn't make me happy. Okay, so we're gonna come back and shade these a little bit if we have time, but I want to get the rest of these things based. So I'm gonna do my flowers in that purple too. Watch out, Jan, we're gonna pour some more of this. There might be some more of those boogers in there. I don't know. There might be. So we'll do these little flower tulips in purple, keeping with our color palette. And again, we'll dry those. Put a second coat on. And then we'll also paint our leaves with some, this is equivalent to Hauser Medium Green. It's a different brand, but super close to that same color. It's just a medium green, so we'll get that on our stems and leaves. I'll turn this a little sideways so I can see where I'm at with the stem. Okay, dry those, and likewise I'm going to paint my carrot tops in that same green color. So we'll get our second coat on these ones first, and then we'll do our carrot top, same color. So this is kind of the sped up version of painting these. Now, I mean, I normally wouldn't be power painting like this. I would be, you know, relaxing and taking a little bit of time, but I want to be able to let you see the whole project. So you don't have to paint yours near as fast. So I'm just kind of getting that just above where I need the orange to be. But we're getting these based pretty quick. No, I don't wash them out, Jan. What I do is I just leave them to dry like this. And then once they're dry, I just cut them back and use beyond that. So you can kind of, you know, get a lot of use out of one. And it's not trying to be cheap. It's just like, why waste a new one every time? So I just cut them back until there's, you see this one's quite short because I've cut it back a few times. So until I get to the end where there's none left, and then I just throw it out. But I get quite a bit of use out of one. All right, carrots. I'm going to base these with some tangerine. So I have to just get up in here, up next to my green. You can use a brush to do this too. I'm just being lazy because I have this in my hand already. All right, we'll give all of this a quick dry. We'll put a second coat of orange on there. This color, that's tea berry, this coral color. It's really pretty. It's really a dark kind of coral. It's the first time I've used that color too, Linda. You missed that part. You weren't here when I said that. All right. And then we can set these carrots aside. Like I said, we're going to come back and do a little shading and highlighting on these pieces, but at least we have the basing done, and they can be drying away over here while we paint our bunny. All right, bunny. I want to make sure that I have him the right way. Yes, I do. And I'm going to base him with some buttermilk. So we're going to get this coat on here quick, and we'll dry it and put a second on. And then the heart, I think I'm going to do in some blush pink. And the nose, we'll do the same. We'll do the same, I think. Both the same blush pink. The heart and the nose. All right, we'll dry that. We'll get these over here while we're drying. Get our blush pink out. We'll multitask. Multitasking. Well, I think it's pretty dry already. Good. And we can come in with a second coat to fill all that in, because that first coat sinks in pretty quick. All right, so there's our bunny. Set him aside. We'll get these little things done with our blush pink, and then we're good to go to start shading everything. Oh wait, we got a bumblebee over here. Poor bee. Got all about you. So the wings, these are the wings, and then the little bee goes on top like that. So we'll do the wings in buttermilk too. I put out far more buttermilk on that plate, or that paper, than I needed. And then we'll get some yellow out for our bee. All right, second coat of pink. So that's our bunny's nose, and there's a little heart that goes on the bunny as well. Wings, and then we just need to get a little yellow for our bee, and I think I'm going to use, I have some banana cream here, we'll use that. We'll use that. how we doing? 210. Just about 210. I think we might get a good chunk of it done. All right, let's move right on in with these letters. I'm going to turn these sideways because I want to shade the bottom edge. And I'm going to shade that. I'm going to grab some berry red. We're going in with some red. What do you think about that? We'll see how that looks. Wonderful. Okay, so we're just going to hit the bottom of these letters just to give them a little shadow on the bottom edge. The red was a good choice, I think. Try that. And then we'll just come in with a second coat because that first coat, you know, isn't always dark enough. Alrighty. So that's looking pretty good. And then I'm going to put a little bit of white on the top side as a little highlight. We haven't any white out yet. Okay. So we'll just kind of scuff a bit of that white on there. And I'm just going to put the one coat of white on this part because I don't want it to be too overpowering over my colors. I just want to have that little highlight on the top edge. All right, so I'm going to set that aside where you can't see it anymore. We're going to just set it right on that background up there. And then the bottom edge of these ones, I'm going to use a little bit of Cherry Merlot. Same thing, we're going to shade the bottom side. We're also going to use this to shade our purple flowers. So we'll do those next after we get this word done. So Cherry Merlot, beautiful. It's working out good. My color combos are doing okay so far. Sometimes they don't, you know. This time it is. It's working out. Okay, I'll go in with another little bit just to darken that down on the bottom edge there. A good shadow on there. And then we'll flip these around and we'll highlight the tops with a little white. And then we'll set those aside. Same thing, I'm just going to scuff a bit of white on here on the top edge. And I'm using an angled brush. You don't have to use an angled brush per se, but that's what I use to get my shading on there. You could use a flat, I suppose, if that's what you want to do. All right, so purple. We're going to shade the bottom side of these tulips with our purple. With our, what was it? Cherry Merlot, I should say. And we're just going to shade up in there in that bottom edge. Probably have to do a couple coats of this too. kind of dry between coats, because if it's still wet when you try to put the second coat on, it'll just pull that paint right off on you and you'll just be defeating the whole purpose. So try and dry between coats. And then we're going to highlight the tops with our white, just the same as we did. We'll be adding a few little highlight lines and dots after we get it on our backboard. But yeah, I'm on early today, Connie. I thought I'd try to, you know, shake things up a little bit. I was off today, so I thought I would come on live during the day, see what it's like during the day. All right, we're going to get some Hauser dark green to shade our leaves. And then I'm going to use a bit of, I'm going to put some under the stem here. So I just think that the shading changes everything instead of just the mono colors. I think I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom edge, and I'm going to go on the bottom side of my leaves. It just changes it up with a little bit of shade on there. Don't you agree? So the bottom edge of those leaves. And then we're going to highlight with some Hauser light green. Let's flip this guy around. How are we doing for time, ladies? If we don't get it done, don't worry. I will post a pic of the final result. But I'm going to do my very best to get it finished. All right, a little bit of Hauser light green. Thanks for the hearts, ladies. All right, so let's get a little bit of that light green on the top side. You could also dry brush the light green on your stems as well. And if I have time, I'll do that too. There's a little extra, but for right now, we're just going to get this on the top edges with our shader. Sticking to my tape. Okay, so let's set those little flowers aside. We'll set those up here. We'll move on into our carrots. And same thing, I'm going to use a little bit of that dark green to shade my greens. I'll go around the outer edge. And these ones I will dry brush because I need to do the centers of these little greens. All right, and then my carrots I'm going to shade with a bit of burnt orange. Lots of colors coming out here. Lots of colors. So we're going to go around the edge of that. We just want to go all the way around the outer edge. We want to cover up our tangerine. We just want to accent it with our burnt orange. So you can see how it changes the look of that whole little piece. Sorry, I'm sticking to this tape. Sheesh. Put some on the bottom edge too. And then that dry brushing in there, we're going to get a little bit of that light green. We can just dry brush right here in the center. A little more as a highlight. So you can see how that changes the look too, with that little extra in the center there. All right, we can set those little carrots aside. Now you can also dry brush a bit of yellow in the center of the carrot as well. Just want to clean that green out of there. So if we took a little bit of this banana cream that we have up in here that we have already used, we can scuff a bit of that as a highlight on our carrot. Right in the center there. Not to cover up your orange, but just as a little highlight, like so. That just changes the look yet again. So I think we can move on to the bunny now. Put this little highlight on here. The carrots up there. We'll move on to our bunny. Oops, I just stuck that handle in purple paint. All right, I think for the bunny I'm going to use a little bit of burlap, maybe. Burlap, my friends, right there. As a shade around the outer edge. We can use that and a little bit of burnt umber too. We'll see how that goes. Put a little bit of this on first, and then we can darken it here and there with some burnt umber. It's just a little rustic bunny. He doesn't have to be too complicated. Then I'm going to grab some of that burnt umber, and then we can darken it down if we want to a little bit. Why not? What the heck? All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to grab my little blender here again. I got to get the yellow out of it. Where are we? 223. Heaven's sakes. You might be able to get this on there so you can at least see where we're going with it. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of that blush pink. And I'm just going to dry brush the center of his ears. Like I said, this isn't a complicated paint on this bunny. He's just a little rustic guy like that. And then this little heart, I'm going to just use a little bit of that red on the bottom edge of this, same as his nose. Do that at the same time. Put a little red on there. Dry that. And then I'm going to bring the background over quickly because I want to start showing you what it's looking like. We're getting down to the wire. Want to do a little dry brushing on his cheeks, give him some eyes. All right, a little highlight of white on the top. This was a power paint. Oh, Lee smokes. We're cooking with gas. Alrighty. Like I said, we'll add some little highlight dots and things to this guy, these little pieces as well. But there's his nose. So I can position that there, and then I can take my blender and give him his rosy cheeks so I know where they're at. Stay where you are, nose. We got 4 minutes left, so I'm not going to be able to get the bee done, but I mean, you know what bees look like, so I'm sure you can look at the photo and understand where I went with that. We're going to put some black stripes on him, and that's about it. A couple little eye dots, but we still have to finish our bee. So we'll just set him there. Let's bring this over so you can see what's what here. So this is kind of where we're at. So we'll just line these little ditties up. I think that's the opposite direction. So far, so good. I think it's going to be very cute. And like I said, I will most definitely put a final photo up once I get all these little details done. But that's where we're going with it. So we have 3 minutes still. Do you like? I like it. It's very cute. I like the colors too. Now for the eyes on my bunny, I'm just going to use dots. So we can just get some black out. We're just going to keep painting until we run out of time, ladies. That's what we're going to do. So what are we going to do? So I'm just going to use my brush handle, and I'm just going to give him 2 little eye dots. That simple. Like I said, he's just a rustic little bunny. I will give him some whiskers. Let me see. I'll give him a few little whiskers. I don't want to necessarily use black though for his whiskers. I think I'm going to try some white and see if that shows up well or not. I think it's okay. Yeah, I like it white better. I don't want to darken his face down too much with black. That's pretty good. Okay, so nose. So the little highlights that I was talking about, I'll show you. I'm going to put a couple little dots and a highlight line here. Same on my heart. I'm going to do a little 3 little dots there. And also on my flowers over here, we're going to do a little something something on those too. So we can add, 3 dots there, 3 dots there. We can even add a little highlight to those. 1 more minute. I love the bunny too. It's cute. So let's do the same over here, but we'll do it opposite. We'll put the dots here. So as soon as this turns to 30, ladies, our time is up. But I will post a picture of this complete. And the link is there if you want to grab yourself one. All right, let's do, we'll just carry on with some dots here. And it's 2:30 and my time is up. So I'll post a picture of once I get everything all, highlighted and all that kind of stuff, and I'll